Hi, and welcome to Clappia. In this video, we will see how to remove app submissions automatically using the delete submission workflow node. Let's take an example. Here in my Clappia dashboard, I'll select this appointments app that I've created earlier. Now this app has two options, one to schedule an appointment and the other to cancel it. Let's say I want to schedule an appointment. So I'll simply select this option, fill in its details, and then click on submit to schedule the appointment. You can view all your submissions under the submissions tab, or in this case all the appointments. And you can see all the list of appointments that I have here, as well as the submission that I just created. Now let's say for whatever reason I need to cancel this appointment. So in app home, I will simply click on the cancel option, search for the appointment that I submitted. I'll get all its details. This is using the get data from other apps block, which is used to pull information from the submissions tab, either from the same app or you can pull submissions from other apps. So just to verify, in my submissions tab, this was the submission that I just submitted. And here in my live app, I have pulled that submission. Now if I simply select the cancel option and click on submit, in the submissions tab, the submission has been created with the selection of cancel. However, this submission still remains. So what should have happened? After I cancel this appointment, this particular submission should have been removed from the list. So let's see how to do that. I'll go to the design app where you can create and edit your app interface. You can see all the sections along with the corresponding fields. Now to delete submissions automatically, based on certain selections or entry into your app, you can go to step 3, which is workflows. When I click on add step, we get a list of workflow nodes that you can use. This video will show you how to use the delete submission workflow node. So in the app, only once I click on cancel and fill in the details, then the submission should be removed. So let's go step by step. First, I will use the if condition node. This is to check whether an appointment is scheduled or cancelled. I can configure this node on the right-hand panel. Here under conditions, you can give formulas similar to spreadsheet. But in place of cell numbers, we have the concept of variable names, which you can pull up over here by typing in @. So if I type in @, you can get all the fields of your app. So I'll select @appointment equals to cancel. I'll show you what this means. So here in the design app, you can see this field where I select cancel. This variable name is associated with this field. So if this variable name equals to cancel is what I've applied over here. So if it is cancelled, then remove the submission. So now I'll use the delete submission workflow node and configure this on the right-hand panel. Select the app whose submissions need to be removed. In this case, it is the same app. You can also select other apps from your workplace whose submissions need to be removed. This way you can interconnect apps as well. Now coming to filters. Click on add filter. This is to filter out the submissions from the ones that you create to match it with the existing submissions from the app that you have selected to remove submissions. So over here, you will get all the fields from the app that you have selected here. So since I want to match submissions, I will pick a field that will be most unique. Probably that can be the email field. This is entirely dependent on you. Once you selected the field from this app, match it to the field from the current app that you're configuring from. Here the variable name for me is email1. So under my cancel appointment, since I'm relating this email field to the email in the submission, you can see this field's variable name is email1. Now I'll click on save. Let's check this out. I'll go to app home and cancel that submission. And as you can see, that scheduled submission is no longer visible in the list of live submissions. I can simply filter out my submissions to view any scheduled appointments. Like so. Do note, by using the delete submission workflow node, your submissions will not be permanently deleted. Instead, they will be archived, and all archived submissions will remain in the system for up to 6 months, following which the system will automatically delete it. To view archived submissions, in your search filter, simply select archived equals to yes, click on search, and the scheduled appointment that I had removed earlier automatically using the workflow node has appeared over here. If you want to delete it, on the right panel at the top, click on the 3 dots. You can either restore or delete the submission. There is a separate video on archiving submissions. It is linked in the description. Now in this example, I have used the delete submission workflow node to remove submissions from the same app itself. But as I mentioned earlier, you can also remove submissions of other apps. Taking the same example, what if I have another app for cancelling appointments? So I'll just build one quickly. using the same fields in the first app. So I had used the get data from other apps, and on the right panel, first I'll give a label name, I'll leave the description blank, and pull submissions from the appointments app. Under selection fields, I will choose the fields from this appointments app for someone to search the submissions with. So it could be with name and maybe email. And based on the search, I will pull up the fields from the appointments app. I'll save this and all the fields automatically appear. There is a separate video on how to use the get data from other apps block, so do check that out. So now if I go to app home, click over here, and the submissions from the appointments app can be pulled over here. Now let's say I want to cancel this person's appointment. So again, I will have to use the delete submission workflow node over here. So in design app, I'll go to workflows. Click on add step. Now previously, in the other app, I had started off with the if condition node. Since this is a direct cancel appointment app, I can directly select the delete submission workflow node and configure it the same way on the right panel. So since I'm deleting the submission from the appointments app, I click on appointments. Again, click on add filter to filter out the submission. I will select the email field since that would be the most unique. This email field is from the appointments app and I will match it to the field from this current app. So @email. Now even though the variable names are the same, this is still meant for this cancel appointment app. So just to make it more clear, I will change that variable name in my design app. I'll save this and go back to configuring the workflow. Now over here, when I type in @ for the email field, you can see the change in the variable name. I'll click on save. Now let's test this out. In app home, I'll pull a submission from the appointments app. So let's say I want to cancel this appointment and I'll click on submit. Now that I've cancelled an appointment, it should be reflected in the appointments app. So I'll go to the submissions tab and that submission is no longer available and has been archived. As you can see over here. Now we have seen how to remove submissions one by one. But what if you need to remove multiple submissions at a time? So in that workflow node, I'm using the same app itself. In this node's right-hand panel, at the bottom, we have the option that says allow multiple delete. If you enable this option, you can remove multiple submissions at a time if the criteria meets. So let's check this out. I'll save this. Now I'll make some submissions, all with the same email ID, since we have mapped that field over here. Now in the submissions tab, I have created 3 submissions, all with the same email ID. Now if I make a cancellation, then all these 3 have to be removed. And since I've enabled the allow multiple deletions, when I click on cancel, pull up one of the submissions that has this email ID and click on submit, all the submissions should be removed, as you can see over here. And they have all been archived. So in this way, you can use the delete submission workflow node to remove submissions from the same app or from other apps, and also remove multiple submissions at a time. If you are using the Clappia mobile app, the functionality works there as well. If you have any query on how to configure the delete submission workflow node or on any other feature in Clappia, you can always request support by clicking on the button over here, or you can email us directly to support@clappia.com and we'll be happy to assist you. Thank you.